Good morning, neighbors. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, and you are tuned in to the Murphy Morning Show. I am your host, Sara, here to ease you into the day with local news, a look at our mountain weather, and a few ideas for getting out into the community this week. Let us start with what is making news around our corner of the mountains today. Cherokee County leaders continue to spotlight a recent resolution opposing what they describe as abuse of the federal Antiquities Act, saying they want to protect local control over how land in and around Cherokee County is managed. They are encouraging residents to stay informed and engaged as national conservation decisions ripple down to everyday life here at home, from recreation access to future development conversations. Over in Andrews, folks are still talking about the devastating industrial chicken house fire at Andrews Valley Poultry Farm that happened just a few days ago. Crews were called out on the evening of January 17th, and the blaze destroyed a large poultry house holding more than 85,000 chickens, causing millions of dollars in damage, but thankfully, no injuries to workers or firefighters. The investigation continues, and neighbors have been expressing concern both for the farm owners and for the broader impact on the local agricultural economy. That same story has renewed discussion in both Andrews and Murphy about fire safety and emergency response in rural areas. Local officials are reminding residents to check smoke alarms, review evacuation plans with family members, and make sure driveways and private roads are clear enough for fire trucks to reach homes and barns quickly. Volunteer fire departments across the region continue to welcome new recruits and support, especially during the cooler months when fire risk around outbuildings and wood stoves can increase. Regionally, communities across western North Carolina and North Georgia are on alert for changing winter weather later this week as a low-pressure system tracks through the broader area. Forecast discussions suggest that with colder air in place at times, there could be periods of wintry precipitation in the mountains, especially in higher elevations and on secondary roads. Road crews and emergency managers are watching the pattern, and drivers are urged to keep an eye on updates and give themselves extra time for travel if conditions turn slick. In neighboring Union County, just across the line in Blairsville, county offices and the courthouse were closed yesterday in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That reminder is a good cue for all of us to carry the spirit of service forward into the week, whether that is checking on an older neighbor, volunteering, or supporting one of the many small nonprofits that make life here in the mountains a little brighter. Even though the holiday itself has passed, the message of community and equality continues to resonate throughout our region. Closer to our downtown, Murphy's Main Street organizations are already looking ahead to the busy spring and summer season, keeping the calendar warm with recurring favorites like the Murphy Art Walk, the Farmers Market, and live music events. While many of the biggest festivals will arrive as the weather turns milder, planning and vendor signups are happening now behind the scenes, and local businesses are hopeful that 2026 will bring steady foot traffic and a strong year for tourism. If you own a small business, this is a good time to connect with Main Street Murphy to get your shop or booth on the map for coming events. All right, friends, before we hop into the weather, a quick favor from your friendly neighborhood host. If you are listening on our channel this morning, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. Tap that like button to let us know you are out there, and go ahead and slam that notification bell so you get an alert every time a new Murphy Morning Show episode drops. And if you find value in this channel, please share it with a friend, a neighbor, or that family member who is always asking what is going on around town. Now let us talk about the weather for Murphy, North Carolina. For today, Tuesday, expect a cool but fairly pleasant January day, with afternoon highs landing in the lower 50s and morning and evening temperatures down in the mid-30s. Skies should be partly to mostly cloudy at times, with only a small chance of a stray light shower, so it is a good idea to keep a light jacket handy and maybe an umbrella in the car, just in case. Looking ahead to Wednesday, temperatures stay seasonable, with afternoon highs once again in the lower to mid-50s and overnight lows dipping back to the low to mid-30s. Clouds may thicken up a bit, and there is a modest chance of light rain, especially later in the day or at night, but widespread heavy precipitation is not expected right now. Roads should remain in decent shape, though the usual shaded mountain spots could feel a little extra chilly early in the morning. By Thursday, we will be watching that broader system sliding through the region, which could bring a better shot at showers to the Murphy area. Daytime temperatures are expected to hover in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees, with lows around the low to mid-30s again, and if any colder pockets line up with the moisture, a few higher spots could see a mix of chilly rain and wet flakes. For most folks, though, it looks like a gray, damp day, so plan on a coat with a hood and maybe some warm socks if you will be out and about. Let us wrap up with some community events coming up in and around Murphy. This evening, downtown Murphy gets a creative boost as local artists and families gather on Peachtree Street and nearby spots for arts-focused activities and workshops, including a fun Murph the Yeti themed painting session hosted by the Valley River Arts Guild. It is a relaxed, family-friendly way to spend a winter evening, meet some of the talented folks who call Murphy home, and maybe bring a little mountain whimsy back to your living room wall. Over at Olive's Porch on Peachtree Street, the winter calendar is in full swing with community carving nights and hands-on folk art classes through January. Those late afternoon gatherings are a great chance to learn traditional skills, swap stories, and enjoy a warm, welcoming space right in the heart of Murphy. If you go, consider arriving a few minutes early to find parking and dress in layers, since folks are coming and going throughout the evening. Looking slightly ahead, Main Street Murphy and downtown partners are continuing to line up this year's art walks, music nights, and the always popular farmers market, which will return in the warmer months with local produce, baked goods, and crafts. While those big outdoor events are still a little way off, many organizers are already recruiting volunteers and vendors, so this is a perfect time to reach out if you want to perform, set up a booth, or lend a hand behind the scenes. Getting involved now helps ensure that our spring and summer in Murphy are full of music, color, and that small-town charm we all love. That is it for this Tuesday's edition of the Murphy Morning Show. Thank you so much for spending part of your morning with me and for caring about what is happening in our town and across our mountain neighbors. This is Sara, wishing you a safe, calm, and hopeful day, and inviting you to tune in again tomorrow morning for more local news, weather, and community stories from right here in Murphy, North Carolina.